Hello, wrestling fans. This is Sal Rough Cuts LaSardo reporting in from Orlando, Florida. Hope everyone is doing well. Welcome for this edition of Rough Cuts as I preview Summerslam live this Sunday only on the WWE Network. It's going to be taking place now at the Amway Center. They're moved out of the Performance Center. They're going to take place at the Amway Center, and they're also doing the Thunderdome with the fans kind of on the simulated screens like they're doing for the NBA and the NHL and also the MLB as well. So kudos for them. We'll get a first look at it, see what it's going to be all about. I think it's going to be a great idea, at least to get the fans involved a little bit to some extent, and if the performance could feel like they're really performing in front of a true live crowd with actual fans opposed to what they've been doing at the Performance Center. Guys, just want you one thing before I get on my picks. Please remember these are my opinions only. They have nothing to do with OneWrestling.com, Bill Apter, or the WWE. So, with that being said, let's get down to the rundown of the card. We have a hair versus hair match with Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. They're taking the story up nicely, the jealousy friendship thing with Mandy and Otis thing, and Sonya getting Phil left out in the cold, and now they've taken it to a level where they're going to have a hair versus hair match. So, where do we go? Where do we lean with this? What is this a conclusion? Or is there going to be a continuation? Well, someone's going to lose their hair. That's, I think, the thing. Uh, I'm going to go on a limb here because what they're doing after SummerSlam is that next week, if you don't know this by now you do, they're going to have payback from the Amway Center. They're going to have another pay-per-view. So they're going to have the greatest spectacle of the summer, and now we're going to have payback. So my feeling is going into this mindset is here, I'm thinking payback and there's going to be more to some of the story. So with Mandy and Sonya, I'm going to go out and I'm going to say that Mandy's going to lose the match. She's going to lose the match and lose her hair. She already started to lose a few pieces of hair. And likely maybe a payback. Mandy is so upset she gets payback against Sonya and maybe clips her hair. That'll be a win-win. But as far as SummerSlam is concerned, I'm going to say that Sonya is going to continue to ride the momentum, and this doesn't finish just yet. I'm going to say Sonya's going to win, and Sonya's going to gloat and celebrate, clipping Mandy's hair, and then on Raw or SmackDown or something, Mandy's going to watch the SmackDown. Yes, they're both on SmackDown. Then Mandy's going to want payback on Sunday at the pay-per-view. That's where I'm going to go with it. So Sonya's going to win, and Mandy's going to lose her hair. Both titles are up at stake. Osaka is taking on Sasha Banks and Bayley for both women's championships. So it'll be double duty. It'll be interesting to see how they spread this out. I said it on Facebook. I said it on Twitter. I'm not going to change my mind. I'm going to say that Osaka is going to be the two belts like Doss Bayley and Becky two belts. I think that maybe this is the time that Bayley and Sasha lose, and then they're forced now to defend the tag titles at the next Payback, and maybe that's where one or the other, whoever is going to start this thing. I mean, it's evident they're on a collision course, right? We just keep saying it every month. When is it going to happen? That's what I said on Twitter and Facebook is that Osaka was going to take Bayley's belt and Sasha's belt, and she's going to be the two belts. In a realistic sense or a story perspective, what I would do is that I would have Sasha lose the belt to Osaka, and Bayley retains over Osaka, and Sasha is jealous that Bayley was able to do what she couldn't do, and then she gets really upset because she couldn't do her part, and maybe they lose the tag titles where Bayley is pinned, and that's the setting off point for Sasha, where Sasha will turn on Bayley. I can't see Bayley becoming a face, a heel. I'm sorry, I can't see Bayley becoming a heel or staying a heel once this implodes. Sasha Banks is a natural heel perspective, and Bayley is more of a natural babyface. Although I questioned some of the the heel part of it, but she's just more of a natural babyface. So, in my eyes, anyway. So, my feeling is that that's what I would do with it. I would have Sasha get pinned, lose the title, Bayley retained, and then Sasha's going on this jealous rampage and not happy that Bayley still has the belt. She doesn't have the women's title, and then they're going to lose the tag titles at Payback, and that could hopefully set it off. So that's what I would do. But I think what's going to happen is I think that Bayley and Sasha are both going to lose to Saka, and it'll be interesting to see how they get this manipulated and going forward. Where I think ultimately it's going to be Sasha that will turn on Bayley. That's what I'm going to go with. As the next match we have is that Strowman's going to face the Fiend here. I mean, everybody knows the whole deal with the Fiend. Everybody knows, look, the bad rap with Goldberg, and now, he shouldn't have lost it, and this and that and the other thing. So here's what my take on this. Bray the Fiend is going to get the title at SummerSlam off of Strowman. And Alexa Bliss is going to help. Is she going to be the new Sister Abigail, or is she just going to be a camaraderie, or, like this damsel in distress or Beauty and the Beast type of thing? I think time will tell where they're going with it. I do see that what they're doing is that Alexa is going to be infatuated with the Fiend and, that Beauty and the Beast kind of thing. I don't think it'll be Sister Abigail, although that's possible. But Alexa is going to have a say in this, and Strowman's going to want retribution, payback, and at Payback for losing the title. So there'll be a rematch with that. But SummerSlam, Bray's going to walk out, and he's going to get the title, and he's going to have a lengthy run. It's Bray's time to get the belt back after all everything that happened this year and last year with losing the belt to Goldberg. It's Bray the Fiend's turn to get the belt and hold the belt. That's the plan all along. And, Strowman was just there because Roman was not able to face Goldberg and, eventually lead on to Bray and what have you. So it's Bray. Bray's going to win. I don't think there's any doubt. And Braun will get a rematch at Payback, and Bray will walk out. And Alexa will undoubtedly have some say in the outcome, but Bray will be the new champ. We got Dominik with Ray and Seth and Murphy. Well, this is another thing here is, Ray already lost, with the eye versus eye thing, if you saw that. Does Dominik, in his first real major test of his career, beat Seth Rollins? I mean, the Messiah, Seth Rollins. He's going to have Ray in his corner. And that's a pretty interesting thing here. I mean, you have to look at it. I mean, this is Dominik's. I mean, they've been battling back and forth. Is this redemption for his father? That's something that you can talk about. Or is the Messiah going to put Dominik in his place and show that he is? After what happened with Ray, I somehow, some way, Dominik is going to get his hand raised 1, 2, 3. I don't doubt that Ray and Buddy will get involved in this, but somehow, some way, Dominik is going to get 1, 2, 3, and walk away with the victory and continue this for a little bit. I just don't see how Dominik is going to lose against Seth Rollins, especially after everything that's happened with his father, Ray. So I'm going to say Dominik's going to get a victory on his first true major pay-per-view. Apollo Crews will take on MVP. Apollo Crews does have the United States Championship. Lashley and Shelton Benjamin are banned, but I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. I think that MVP will find a way to get the title off Apollo Crews, and MVP will be your new United States Championship going forward. I don't think Apollo Crews is going to lose. I don't think Apollo Crews is going to walk out. MVP is going to win. Somehow, some way, he will find a way to victory. Drew McIntyre will take on Randy Orton. I said this on Facebook. I said this on Twitter. Drew McIntyre's whole culmination was to celebrate in front of the fans, and even with Thunderdome, it's still not the same. So, with that, and the feud that Randy's had with the Edge and doing the punting and continue to reinvent his character this late in his career, Randy is going to get the title off of Drew, and he's going to hold that belt until Edge comes back, and they're going to have their big payoff. They're going to have their big major showdown. Hopefully for WrestleMania next year, that the epidemic will subside. We'll get live crowds, and Randy and Edge will be able to have a main event in front of a huge, huge audience. Hopefully, I don't think it'll be in front of 100,000 people, but even if it's 15, 20,000 people, it's better than nothing. But now Randy will beat Drew. Randy will take the title. He will run with it. Edge will be back from injury, and that's what it's going to be later on. That'll be the payoff. Drew will get the title again at some point and celebrate in front of a live audience. Randy could always beat Edge and hold it, or maybe Edge beats Randy and we have Edge and Drew in a real true main event. That would be an incredible main event where Drew then is basically Edge is passing the torch on to Drew because Edge is coming to the end and Drew is still young enough to keep going and shine for several more years. That's a very good possibility as well. So there's a lot that can play out later on, but I do believe that Drew will lose his title to Randy so that Randy can hold it until sometime next year when Edge comes back. That's going to be my guess. Randy will hit an RKO out of nowhere and maybe more than one, and that will be all she wrote for Drew for the time being. One more match I did not bring up will be the Street Profits against Andre and Angel Garcia for the Raw Tag Team Championships. The Street Profits have the belt. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with this. Zelina's in their corner, and Zelina, she's been, kind of upset with the boys lately, And I'm going to say that she's going to get what she wants. And that's going to be the Tag Team Championships around Andre's and Angel Garcia's ways. I think they're going to get the titles. They're going to be the Street Profits. It's going back and forth with the friction and everything, and she's going to celebrate being the Tag Team Championships. So overall, it's going to be, I think it's going to be good. It's going to be high spots. I'm interested to see what they're going to do with the women because a lot can play out with that and how that's going to go. And I'm looking forward to see if Osaka is going to get both belts or get one. She's going to get at least one. I would pretty much bank on that. Will she get both? That'll be the interesting factor. If she loses the first time, I don't think it's going to happen. Whoever she faces first, I don't think she's going to lose that. The question will be, will she get the second one? And I think she will face Sasha first and then Bayley. And like I said, I believe she'll get at least Sasha's belt, if anything. And the question, would she get both? And I predicted she get both. But from a storyline perspective, I'd like to see Bayley hold it, but Sasha go on this jealous rampage. I'm intrigued to see McIntyre and Orton. I think it'll be a better than average match. I don't think it'll disappoint. So that's something to look forward to. Everyone wants to see what's going to happen with Alexa Bliss, the Fiend and Brew, and Braun Strowman. So that's got some possibilities there as well. So it does have a lot of possibilities to be about an average, above average show. And with the Thunderdome, I think it'll be decent. I don't think it'll be totally a waste of time, so I'm looking forward to see where they're going to go with it. Before I wrap up here, I just want to say, if you do not know, it's been all over the news that Sonya Deville, Dario Barreto had an incident in Tampa with an obsessed fan, and, we have to understand, people, that these WWE superstars are human beings. Their private lives are not to be invaded. I know they go on Twitter and they post whether they're in character or not, but there's a line that can't be crossed. And this gentleman crossed it, and, my prayers are out to Sonya, also known as Daria in real life, and Mandy, that they were unharmed and unscathed. They were able to get out of the house and get to law enforcement and have this person arrested. And hopefully they will be able to get closure from this because this is a very sad and tragic situation for everybody. They are characters on TV, but they are human beings when the cameras stop rolling. And nobody, no civilian, should ever cross that line. And unfortunately, it does happen with athletes, actors, actresses, even, sports entertainers like wrestlers. But there is no place for it. And even with the day of social media, be careful. I've seen a few things happen on it on Twitter and Facebook, and it's just uncalled for. Okay, if you can't behave yourself, then you don't belong on social media. It's not meant for you to be an obsessed fan and then act on it. That's not what it's there for. Okay. So for this edition of Rough Cuts, may all your matches be a main event. Enjoy SummerSlam on Sunday live on the WWE Network. Prayers out to everybody during the epidemic. Hopefully we'll have a vaccine soon enough. Stay safe. God bless. Until next time, this is LaSardo reporting in for Rough Cuts for this week's edition for SummerSlam. Take care.